So, this video is for the second half of section 1.7, and in these problems, one of the fractions we're working with is going to actually have the common denominator that we want, and we're going to turn the other one into that. Okay, so we saw that with a numerical fraction example in the last video, and also problems 7 and 8 in the first half of this exercise section are like that as well. Okay, so let's look at problem 14, and this is on page 62, and these problems do go over to page 63. So let's start with problem 14. Here we've got 1 over y plus 6 minus 4 over y squared plus 8y plus 12. Okay, so again, this denominator right here is prime. This one is not. It's factorable. This is one of its factors, y plus 6. The other factor is y plus 2. Notice the 6 times 2 gives you the 12, and 6 plus 2 gives you the 8. Okay, so this is going to be our common denominator. We're not going to do anything to this fraction to begin with, but we are going to take this one and turn it into this denominator by multiplying by y plus 2 over y plus 2. That's supposed to be a multiplication symbol right there. There we go. Okay, so what we're going to get out of this then is going to be y plus 2 over y plus 2 times y plus 6, and then minus 4 over y plus 2 times y plus 6. So this one's pretty straightforward. It's just y plus 2 minus 4. And so in the end, we end up with y minus 2 on top, and then y plus 2 times y plus 6 on the bottom. And that is lowest terms. We can't do anything to reduce that, so that is the answer in lowest terms. Okay, let's look at a couple more examples here. Let's go over to page 63, and we'll look at problem 18. Okay, let's see here. Problem 18, we start out with 3x plus 3 on top, 2x squared minus x minus 1 on the bottom, and then plus 1 over 2x plus 1. Okay, so very similar to the way the last problem started out. You've got a denominator here that's prime, and one over here that's not prime. And so we should find out what are the factors of this denominator. So chances are this is going to be one of the factors, just because of the way these problems are being set up. Okay, so you've got to have a 1 here. Now the question is, should this be a plus or should it be a minus? Well, that'll give us negative 2x, positive 1x gives us a negative 1x in the middle, and then positive 1 times negative 1 gives us negative 1 there. Okay. So those are the factors for that denominator. This is going to be our common denominator. We're going to turn this one into this one by multiplying by that missing factor, x minus 1 over x minus 1. Okay. We're multiplying by 1 here, right, because this is equivalent to 1, so we're not changing the value of that fraction. All right. So now we've got 3x plus 3 over 2x plus 1 times x minus 1. And then plus, we can put the 1 up there if we want to. We don't have to. It's really just going to come out as x minus 1. And now we have the same denominator. So we can put all of this together in the same fraction and then combine our like terms. 4x plus 2 on top, and then 2x plus 1 times x minus 1 on the bottom. Now, most of the problems, in fact, I think all the problems that we've looked at so far have come out with an answer that is in lowest terms. Even if you factor something out, it didn't reduce. This one is different, okay? So here, you can see that there's a common factor of 2 in the numerator. So let's factor that out, and that is going to leave us with a 2x plus 1 on top, and that will cancel with the 2x plus 1 on the bottom. And so the answer for this problem in lowest terms is going to be 2 over x minus 1. Okay? We'll look at a couple more examples where we have to do that as well. Okay, let's see here. Problem 20. All right, problem 20, we start with 2 over y minus 3, subtract 8 minus 4y over y squared minus 8y plus 15. Okay, so similar scenario. This is prime, this denominator is prime, this denominator is factorable. And so we want to know, what does it factor into? Well, there's a very good chance that y minus 3 is one of the factors, and that means that y minus 5 is the other, right? The minus 3 and the minus 5 give us minus 8, and minus 3 times minus 5 gives us positive 15. So this is going to be our common denominator. We're going to leave this fraction alone, but we're going to turn this denominator into this one by multiplying by y minus 5 over y minus 5. So let's see what we get. 2 times y minus 5, then minus parentheses 8 minus 4y, and then this is all over our common denominator, y minus 3 times y minus 5. And I think I skipped the step where I write them as 2 separate fractions before we get to this point. If you're confused by that, let me know. I'll try to help you out to understand it, but I think this isn't too confusing going from here to here. Okay? All right, so now let's distribute 2y minus 10 minus 8, and don't forget that's going to be a positive 4y. And then we've got the same denominator. So what do we come out with here? 2y and 4y makes 6y, and minus 10 minus 8 makes minus 18. And again, notice that the numerator is factorable. You've got a common factor of 6, and when you pull that out, you've got a y minus 3 that's going to cancel with the y minus 3 on the bottom. And so our answer in lowest terms is going to be 6 over y minus 5. All right, let's look at one more. Okay, let's see here. Problem 22, we start out with 3 fractions. So first off, a over a minus 1 minus 2 over a plus 2, and then plus 3 times a minus 2 over a squared plus a minus 2. All right, so we need to build a common denominator for all 3 of them, for all 3 fractions. This denominator is prime, so is this one. This one is factorable, and not by coincidence, the problem is set up this way. It factors into the product of those other 2 denominators. This is a plus 2 times a minus 1. Okay, so this is our common denominator. We're going to leave this fraction alone to begin with, and then we're going to turn these other 2 denominators into this one. So this needs to get multiplied by a plus 2 over a plus 2. This one needs to get multiplied by a minus 1 over a minus 1. So let's see what we get here. I'll write out all three fractions separately to begin with, since this one's a little bit different. A times a plus 2 over our common denominator, minus 2 times a minus 1 over that same denominator, and then 3 times a minus 2 over a plus 2 times a minus 1. So, let's see here. Let's rewrite this as just a single fraction. And then plus 3, a minus 2. And then we've got just a single denominator there. Okay, so what we need to do now, and again, remember, none of this is going to cancel right now because you've got all this adding and subtracting going on in your numerator. What we need to do up here is distribute and combine like terms. So, a squared plus 2a minus 2a plus 2, and then plus 3a minus 6. And the denominator stays the same. So let's see here. These are going to cancel each other out, and so we're going to end up with, let's see, I'll put it up here. A squared, and then plus 3a, and then negative 6 and positive 2 make negative 4. And our denominator stays the same. Okay, so there it is. Now the question is, again, is this in lowest terms? Well, the top is factorable, right? The numerator factors as a plus 4 times a minus 1. Now that we've done that, you've got a common factor of a minus 1, and this reduces to a plus 4 over a plus 2. This is in lowest terms. Remember, you can't cancel the 2 and the 4 here because they're not being multiplied. They're not factors. So this answer right here, a plus 4 over a plus 2, is in lowest terms. Okay, so that's it for section 1.7. And we will, I'll have a quiz that follows up with this, and I'll get that posted. We're coming towards the end of chapter 1. I'll start talking about the midterm in a few days, so that we can try to get prepared for that. So, thank you.